I
You
lose
want
the
to try to
back
get
end of
into
my
the
carbon
Fort
credits
Sill
and the methane.
concentration camps?
Yeah, let's talk
Okay,
about that.
so Fort Sill.
Good choice of language, because they think that people are trying to get into concentration camps.
break it
Isn't
in.
that the conceit of the
Okay.
whole thing?
Now, this started, it was about 3 or 4 years ago when I remember Congressman Jim
1939.
Bridenstine was trying to get on down there to find out, hey, what's going on with all these miners that just flooded into the country without any, they were illegal aliens regardless of their age. And Obama was doing this, and he was separating kids out from adults and
You
stuff
wouldn't
like
do that.
But anyway, so now,
And this was at Fort Sill.
Fort Sill.
We have to make
Right.
that.
Which,
that's- bring that
so
home.
now Fort Sill, a historic part of our nation's military. It's an army base there. Goes all the way back to when the cavalry ran it, and Geronimo once spent time there. He was trumped up on a bunch of garbage charges to begin with, but because it was a territory, yes, it was a federal facility. He was tried in federal court, territorial court, and held there. And then evidently, now I find out, Japanese internment camp during World War II, one of the locations.
That's my
was
next
there.
meme, by the way. Get ready
Yeah,
for that one.
and stuff. But anyway, what we've got going on is a crisis of way too many just flooding over our borders, and yet our U.S. House of Representatives will not raise a finger to provide additional relief, leaving the administration to have to be as creative as they can to find places to
Why
put
would they?
these
They
people.
benefit from the crisis.
Well,
Why would they?
without the money to
Democratic majority does
without the
benefit.
money to properly staff, to have enough people running this, or to process things out so that people are determined, yes, either you do get asylum here or you don't, and bye-bye. We are languishing because we don't have the funds for a crisis, and yet who's bad-mouthing about it? Let me tell you, these the Democrats in our federal government who are whining about what Trump's are doing are the same one that were applauding Obama for doing the same thing.
For separating children from their parents at the
And-
border?
And I'm telling you, this is absolutely posturing.
It's so funny too, because a lot of the images going around in the media of evil orange man bad Trump, separating children from their parents at the border, they were actually taken during the Obama administration. It's
Right,
absolutely hysterical. You can right click
Yeah.
the file and go to the info. It's they're from 2014.
Yeah.
The images.
I'm telling you, in the way this administration is operating in this area is almost identical to what Trump is doing. It's actually a little bit better in some ways, but, and I remember when G.W. Bush was leaving office, he did an interview. He said, most of the things that happen in the administrative part of our government here are pretty much set, and the people that come after me are going to do essentially what I did. Doesn't matter whether it's a D or an R. And I'm finding that to be very true on some of these federal responsibilities, like protecting our borders. So Trump's not doing much different than Obama, and yet,
Other than seeking to address the issue and creatively using tariffs to mobilize the Mexican National Guard to their southern border. I mean,
Yeah.
he is doing a lot there, and of course, what I like to say, what I wanted to say earlier too, is it's hilarious that Trump is being condemned by Democrats that have used even stronger language in condemning illegal immigration. I mean, you listen to, the Clintons in the early 90s, or Nancy Pelosi or Chuck Schumer. I mean, they sound like Donald Trump times 2 on this issue.
Yeah.
And they've all suggested building a wall, and they've all suggested cracking down. But they realize now that they're murdering their natural voting base demographic at such a high rate that they have to import new voters.
Yeah, if you look at how our federal government changed around the time we got the 16th and 17th Amendment, that was right after a big flood of new immigrants, including my great-grandfather and grandmother coming in Ellis Island.
No better argument against
When
immigration.
we had a whole bunch of immigrants who didn't know the history, the culture, the heritage, to the degree that a child growing up here would know about why we formed the kind of government we did, the federal and the state. To them, that's why you saw all of a sudden, hey, it shouldn't be up to legislatures to pick the 2 senators. We'll just make it a popular vote. Or, it sure would be nice if we had a federal income tax, but as long as it's only millionaires who are going to pay it. That's how it was sold on them. And so I am concerned about a flood of immigration if they aren't properly educated in why we do things the way we do.
All
Because
the Pew
otherwise-
Research numbers indicate that it doesn't matter. Foreign-born immigrants south of the border
Yeah.
favor far-left policies at a rate of 80%.
Yeah, but if I'm from
Consider their
Colombia
sentence.
coming here, what am I going to want to see? Probably the
Colombian
things,
governance,
Or at
according
least-
to how people actually
at least the best parts of Colombian government. And the same would be true whether it was Germany or Vietnam or wherever. I'm going to want to keep the good and get rid of the bad. And most nations don't have the heritage that we have here that is unique for the type of government we have. And that's my concern about the immigration. Now, I will give Trump this. He's looking long-term, seeing a barrier wall is necessary. Yes, the Democrats have said that, but did they mean it? The Republicans
Well-
did.
Well-
Trump is the only one that seems
kind
to
of like
mean
moving
it.
the embassy
Bingo.
right to Jerusalem.
Bingo.
Everybody said it, but there's only one guy that did it.
Yes.
You know, so.
I'm sorry, you were saying.
No. The real thing is, if they were serious about it, they would change the reasons that people are coming here. They're coming here for free money, free
Yeah.
handouts. They're coming here because, hey, we just let them through. Hey, all I have to do is come and say, I'm a refugee.
Yeah.
And they're in. So if that's the case, and they don't, the only wall is being built to keep people from getting to that point, so
Yeah.
that they can't say, "Hey, I'm a political
I will tell
refugee."
you this though, I would rather, and this is going to sound bigoted as can be here, okay, and stereotypical. I would rather take 1,000 Latin American families than 1,000 Eastern European families, because I know the family values that I've seen from the people that I've interacted with here, because we do have a large Latin American contingent here. And some of the most family values oriented people, and yeah, I'm being bigoted, I'm being absolutely stereotypical,
Well, you know, the biggest family
generalized.
there is the
generalized.
socialist family.
But I'm saying this. I'm saying this because there's a lot of people within my own political sphere who look down their noses on Latin Americans. And I'm telling you, they are our allies in many ways when it comes to the culture, when it comes to the values of family, the values of self-reliance.
Like in
I see a lot.
Venezuela or Guatemala or Mexico.
I'm telling you, compared to what you see in Democrat socialism, which is much of Europe now, I would rather keep that in Europe.
Well, you see who they've replaced their socialist regime with in Venezuela. They're attempting to. Another socialist. They're like, wow, socialism didn't work. Let's try socialism.
Let me tell you, Venezuela has a heritage going back over the last 100 years that's been fantastic. It's other than, this last 20 years, it has been a great country.
Well, what about Mexico or
Yeah.
Honduras?
Yeah, I'm
Or
telling you.
Colombia?
Yeah. Colombia is
They're
right now.
kleptocracies.
Colombia, you don't hear much
They're
because
narco
it's
states.
Colombia has cleaned up
Large,
immensely.
yeah.
They have.
Immensely.
But that's because they finally
On
got
the
a ruler who
narcotics.
wasn't tyrannical.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you went to Argentina,
And now, how much does cocaine cost, David?
if you went to Argentina, you would find it to be so similar to American culture, except they speak Spanish.
Argentina and
That's
Chile.
That's because that's where all the
Argentina
Nazis
and
went.
Chile. Dear God.
Yeah, they all speak Spanish.
I'm too tired for this.
So no, the culture doesn't bother me. I enjoy learning new cultures. That
It's not
doesn't
about, it's
Yeah.
about values, about political values, because that's what we're talking about. That's going to
Yeah.
be the direction the country goes. I agree. I don't mind immigrants from nations that value liberty, like Chile,
Yeah.
like Argentina. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter their ethnic background or their cultural background. What I do look at is data. And we have a lot of data that it doesn't suggest, it literally states it is reflective of the self-reported views of many of these immigrants. And I'm telling you, 80% of them support far leftism. Not just Democrats. They do vote for Democrats, but they vote for the Ocasio-Cortez.
Well, can we segue from that into?
Well, not yet, because I want to add. Well, the reason that works like that is from simple psychology. There's a famous experiment. They put a fish in a 3-foot tank, and they put a barrier 1 foot in. They make the fish live in the 1 foot end of the tank.
And then the fish turns gay. I know, I saw that.
Yeah, but they get a tax
Frauds.
They get a tax break. But they pull the barrier out, and the fish, even though the barrier is gone, won't swim past where it's learned to stay. And this is the same problem we have with
Yes.
fish. Basically, they've learned that I eat gruel and I get it from them. And as long as that's what it is, they'll
And
just
there's
do that
another
again.
So you're talking about
psychological.
the slave mentality.
Yeah, basically.
There's
yeah.
another effect. It's called mere exposure. People like something simply because you like it more the more times you're exposed to it. No matter
Yes.
what it is,
Yes.
no matter how awful it is or mundane
yeah.
it is, or
Right.
you like it more. And for whatever reason, a combination of these factors, or maybe some other confounding factor, but people tend to vote for what they've already experienced. When people come from, and I've said it a million times, I'll say it a million more, they come from California, they come from the People's Republic of Washington, Oregon, and New York, and they move to Texas that has very liberty-oriented constitutional laws.
Yeah.
They vote for the leftism that has destroyed their communities, and that's what Austin,
feels comfortable.
Texas, is a bastion of it. People do not connect those two things. So that's my pushback on your statement. But I do agree with some good analysis here.
Okay.
Yeah, and what did you want to